Guys, this is Kaylee WTC here, and we're celebrating the thousands episodes of the Gentleman of Crypto show, the longest running live stream focused on crypto and Bitcoin. So, with me today, we have some awesome women in crypto, and they're going to talk more about themselves, what they do, what it means to be a woman here in Web3, and a bunch of other stuff. So, I'm going to first introduce Mila. So Mila is a fashion model. She's a crypto influencer and she's also a Binance ambassador. So Mila, please share more about yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Mila. I'm originally from Ukraine. I was born and raised in Ukraine. I moved to United States around 7 years ago, and I'm doing modeling and also I'm an influencer. I got into crypto Web3 space because my friends created a project and like asked me to promote their brand, their NFT project, and I helped them to promote. And actually, it was really successful. My friend he sold out 2 collections. So, and after that, it was kind of like a snowball. A lot of people just started to reach out to me to promote their brands. So I started to work with a lot of different projects. It's an incredible journey, and after I met like more and more people in the space, I got invited to be an ambassador in Binance. I was going to the events in Dubai and Paris, and I really see there is not many women involved in the space. That's why I'm happy to to be one of those women in space, and I think more women should join the space because there's a lot of opportunities, and I think eventually there's going to be a lot of like a workspace and everything.
I totally agree with you. And I think that experience of being the only woman in the room at these events is so close. And I think so many of us can relate to that. We're going to talk more about that. So we're going to touch base on that more, Mila. And I'm going to introduce Crypto Beige here. Crypto Beige, great to have you on. So I'm going to introduce you. And then, of course, she's going to introduce herself right after. So Crypto Beige uses her experience as a former entertainment manager to empower the crypto curious so they can achieve financial freedom together with a mission to onboard over 1 million newbies of color to the Web3 space. So she teaches business to hopeful investors about Bitcoin, Ethereum, decentralized finance, NFTs, metaverse projects, and more. She is the creator and host of Critically Crypto. So you'll often see her here on Fridays. And so she teaches the NFT curious how to do their own research. So Crypto Beige, please introduce yourself and share that awesome knowledge that you have.
Hey everyone, I am just really happy to be here. I'm kind of new to this space. I've been in this space probably for about 2 years, and this year I've really dived deep into like getting to know the players of the space, getting in the mix, going to the conferences and seeing what's what and who's who. And I think for me, my mission and purpose in this space has been to connect women and people of color to funding, right? Because there are a lot of opportunities for blockchain-based businesses, and I think that we need to be a part of the next frontier, not just assistance of people who have businesses in the next frontier. We need to be a part, interwoven in the fabric of that. I think our ideas need to be championed, and so that's my mission in this space. I'm also in partnership with the Storage Institute, and their mission is to raise the awareness of blockchain technologies, decentralized storage, and also to be an advocate for policy that makes sense. Yeah, that is what I'm doing. That's what I'm passionate about, and I'm happy to be here.
That is awesome, wonderful. Your background is super impressive, and everything you're doing is amazing. So we're gonna talk more Crypto Beige, guys, and we're gonna introduce one half of the Jump Out girls. Tima, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Awesome. So Tima, tell us more about the Jump Out girls and tell us more about your mission.
Yeah, so basically, I'm one half of the Jump Out Girls. Obviously, my cousin, Charmaine, she's not here right now. But essentially, we're two girls who jumped out of traditional finance using untraditional methods. We're from the DMV. we essentially, we found out about crypto in 2017, and it's been a journey ever since, just like jumping into the space, learning more about Bitcoin, meeting you guys, being on this platform. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, you guys have an awesome show. You guys are always teaching others about how to live your life, but also stack sats in the process through Fold, Lolly, Xverse. And I have to
Yeah.
show Xverse a little bit because I'm a community growth lead there. So if you guys are wondering what Xverse is, so they're building the most advanced Bitcoin wallet. So their mission is create a user-friendly super wallet and the experience leverage stacks to unlock Bitcoin in Web3. So that's DeFi on Bitcoin, NFT secured by Bitcoin and other dApps, and also the Lightning Network. And this will enable instant and low cost Bitcoin transactions. And if you're interested, this is available on both the iPhone and Android. So check out Xverse in the App Store. And while I'm done chilling Xverse, I want to introduce our lovely Naja Roberts. Naja, it's great to see you.
Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon. Had to look at the clock. Good afternoon, ladies. I'm so thrilled to be on with all of you today. This is awesome. Again, shout out to the gentlemen of crypto in this 1000th episode. It's incredible that they did yesterday, and so that's it. I'm here. I'm ready. Whatever you have.
Awesome. So, if you guys don't know about Naja, she is a Bitcoin expert, radio host, and keynote speaker from Los Angeles, California. So, after leaving traditional finance of over 13 years under her belt, she dove headfirst into cryptocurrency and never looked back, specifically Bitcoin. So, she quickly realized how difficult it was to get assistance that wasn't being provided by an AI or a bot system, and she determined to give the space a desperately needed human touch. So she became the founder of Crypto Blockchain Plug, where she offers personalized coaching, support, guidance. Naja continues her passion for assisting others by becoming one of the founding members of the largest Bitcoin group on Clubhouse, the Black Bitcoin Billionaires. And she's an instrumental in expanding the social group to over 130,000 members. So I can speak all day about how amazing she is. Naja, please give us more information.
Well, thank you again. I'm just a reflection of you, beautiful ladies that are on the screen. I'm just excited about all of this, just having women in crypto today on this channel. Just one of my passions is really about education, around education, because we have got to educate our community to better really understand how this whole entire ecosystem works. And I'm one of those people that really feels like it doesn't matter how you get to this space, as long as once you get to this space, you really start to educate yourself and figure out what's good and bad and all of those things. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have a discussion about that shortly.
Yes, definitely. So I want to begin the conversation where Mila touched on, she mentioned, and please add to this that again, when you're going to these events and you're talking about, Bitcoin, Web3, crypto, and NFTs, do you often find yourselves as one of few women in the room? How does that make you guys feel? Do you feel as though you're adding value? Is it intimidating at sometimes? I'd love to hear from everyone. Mila, if you'd love to start us off since you brought up that awesome topic.
Yeah, so I think, it could be intimidating because it's mostly male. It's in statistics only 8% females in the industry. So, and I feel like even in US, it's more females than, for example, in Europe or Middle East. Because when I went in Dubai blockchain event, in Binance blockchain event, I think it was literally few women and a lot of men, like thousands. So that felt a little intimidating and unusual. And I was wondering like why it's like that, like while male first of just this industry. But I think that's why female, we have to bring this knowledge to other females to bring them to the industry. And yeah, it does feel like intimidating. I think now I think I used to that. It doesn't feel like the intimidating at the beginning. I used to it more, but still there should be, I think there should be more females. So
I agree 1,000%. How do you all feel about that too?
So I will
Um,
say, like when we first went to the Bitcoin conference, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
can hear you perfectly fine.
No, it was so funny when we first went. People assumed that we were models or promotional models
Oh,
when we were walking around. So we would go up to, I don't know, any of the vendors there, and they were like, "Oh, what are you guys promoting?" Like they thought this was like our promotion for just, the people who walk around and like sell stuff. And I'm like, no, we're like in the space. We're here to, we know about it. We're very knowledgeable about it. And it's just like it's funny just because, oftentimes with a male dominated space, when you don't see a lot of women, it can be intimidating, but at the same time it's like you just have to put your face out there and just speak up and just say, hey, look, no, we're not promotional models. We're actually here to teach about Bitcoin, to maybe introduce something to you. So I think that was interesting too, especially like when you're at these conferences, how the assumption is you're not there to learn or to be a part of it. You're there to promote for something else.
that's a great point.
Yeah.
Oh, Crypto BJ, did you want to say something?
So I would say that I'm not intimidated by being in this space. Sorry, there is noise in the background. I just cannot fix it at the moment.
You're
But
fine.
yeah, there is. I'm not intimidated at all. I think that the thing, I actually talked about this with some people recently. There are a lot of women in this space, I feel. They're just in specific areas of the space, right? Or they don't really show up to events because they have other responsibilities. And because a lot of men play in these events, they don't keep women in mind. For example, one of my really good friends is a large NFT collector. And because she has three children under four, it was very difficult to get to, the VCon conference, and she did. But it's like things like there's no place to breastfeed, there's no place for child care. So I feel like a lot of times there are people behind the screens, but they don't necessarily make it out to be in public um, because you know because they're not considered. Um, I think that there's a smaller amount of. I think women are intimidated. Uh, like it's a guy thing. Like financial markets is a guy thing. Blockchain is a guy thing. Software development or game development is a guy thing. And I think we just kind of like need to expand that more. It's for the tech side of people. Like developers are a lot of time they're in the basement of their in the basement of their homes, like what I mean, coding away. So they're not always that social either. So I think maybe we should also pull for more women to actually like come outside of their behind their desks, right? Because I know that they're there. I've seen them a little bit.
What initiatives do you guys think could help more women come to light? Like Crypto Beiji said, some women, some of the women at home are doing childcare. Some of them, their schedules don't permit this. What do you guys think about that? How can we make it so? How can we make it so we can make it more inclusive to women? What things would you guys like to see?
I think that she was spot on it when she said, there's no amenities that are needed for women to come to these events that are busy and that have children, et cetera, et cetera. So one of the visions that I have for a women's event or women's cryptocurrency event is to actually have a crypto kids camp or a camp going along in tandem with the adults are learning, but the children are learning as well. And so people feel comfortable bringing their children are safe, and then they're learning the same things that they're learning so that then there's some dialogue in the home. And I think, that's something that is majorly needed. I know that we actually reach out to almost all of the event promoters and say, hey, what are you all doing for women? I mean, you've got to be vocal in the space, got to let them know that you're there. And what I've had to do in the past is if you look at the Bitcoin conference specifically, Charmaine is absolutely right. the fact that they thought she was a model and she probably looks exactly like a model, but I hit the damn ceiling last year when they had, and I protested this last year, but the year before that, I went ham on the promoters because they literally had women walking around in bathing suits with lampshades on their heads, and they were walking around that conference. And I said, "What in the hell is this?" When you have women that are we yeah, we can be beautiful. Don't get me wrong, I don't have any problem with that, but exploiting that and making folks think that that's all that we are is beauty and not brains is not acceptable. And so um, we've made events around their events and just got on the website. So like my Wine Women in Crypto, I actually demand that Bitcoin conference puts it on their website so women have something to do, because if they're only bringing 3 or 4 of us to the stage the whole weekend, what are the rest of us doing? And so we do a Wine Women in Crypto with that. And then I also wanted to say one of the things that I did really early on, 2016, 2017, because I come from a tradition, everything I've done has been male dominated, period. From as an entrepreneur, just period. And so this space is no different. The difference in this space is I can literally dress how I want to, and it really is no big deal. Coming from traditional finance, I always had to wear a suit and I had to show up in heels and that whole thing. And so with this space, what I did was I dressed down, and I still intentionally today I came from a conference. I got on a t-shirt, Chuck Taylors, and so I dressed down. And what I've realized in this space for me is it helps those individuals that are male dominant, still thinking that this is about men, to really and I'm not trying to make them comfortable. Do not get me wrong, but I have an ulterior motive, and that is to get the goods and to really blend in so that I can figure out what's going on in this space. And I have been, in my opinion, the most successful because I walk into a room with t-shirt on, look like sometimes I just roll out of bed. If you haven't paid attention, that's what a lot of them have in this cryptocurrency space, and not trying to be all dolled up and all of these things, but it's given me the opportunity to sit into circles and really understand the nuts and bolts of the development side of of the blockchain side of the Web3 side. And I've done that. Whereas other women come, and they're all pushed up, and I do that too when I'm out. But this crypto space, I've been very intentional to dress down and do something different because I don't want the attention there. I need the attention to be on whatever they're doing so I can figure it out and bring it back to my community. And that's what I've been doing. So
That's
when y'all see me at Taylor's, that's why.
I love it. I definitely want to add to that. I definitely see Mila wants to say something, so let me. I'm gonna loop that in. I think, Mila, what do you think? Do you think that this space makes it more inclusive to women, that we can dress any way we want and still be taken seriously?
Yeah, I actually had similar experience. So first day, like in the conference, I want to dress up, dress down, and everything, but it's not me. I try to be someone else. I almost try to act more masculine and manly, but I don't have to. I can express my feminine energy, and it's about the space. It's about the centralization. It's not about fitting in man world. It's my discovery. And after second day, I was like, I just want to be myself, and I dress whatever I want, and people still take me seriously, because if they want to work with me, they will, and if they don't want, they won't. And this space is about decentralization finance. I don't feel like it's about to fit in this male dominated world. So I decide for myself, so I just gonna be myself, period. Yeah, so this is my experience.
Awesome. Tima, how do you feel about this too? Do you feel as though you have more freedoms to really dress and do certain things as a woman?
I guess it can go both ways. Like, my cousin and I, we kind of like to, we like to dress up sometimes. We like to, put the makeup on, but we're not, we're not walking around with bathing suits on while we're at this conference, right? At the same time, I think it's, it depends on the environment, depends on where we're going. I feel like we really don't care if someone has something to say about what we have on, or it doesn't really, that doesn't really matter to us. I would say is a better word for it. And I think that, those who have an issue with it, like, so what, like, it's not going to change our perspective or change how we uh, perceive the environment. We're just going to continue to promote and talk about what we know, and then eventually someone's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, wow, like it's more outside of this than what you're seeing." So, I guess to make a long story short, it's like we don't care. Like we're gonna come, we're gonna wear our jump out girl shirts, and then sometimes we may have on a tight dress. Well, I'm not wearing tight dresses now just because I'm with child. So, but anyways,
you look fabulous either way.
Thank you. But yeah, so it's just it kind of goes both ways. Like, like what Miss Naja was saying, like we saw those girls even at the conference this past year. They were walking around with I don't know, like they had on some like tube top shorts, and they were promotional girls. Like, we're not going to do that, just because that's just not the image that we want to portray. But if we're going to the beach, hey, yeah, we're wearing the same thing.
That's a good point. Does anyone else want to add to that? Awesome. So let's shift the conversation over a little bit. So we talked about this earlier. As women in Bitcoin and Web3 and NFTs and DAOs, we're seeing more women come into the space slowly but surely. What ways are you seeing women come into the space? Do you see them on Twitter Spaces? Do you see them as collaborating with other brands? And if you are, what ways do you want to see more women, including yourselves, out there promoting this type of crypto education or just promoting crypto in general? And anyone can go. Naja, do you want to go first?
Sure. I agree that there are lots of women in the space, and they just have not been able to get out the way that they want to. And I think finances ultimately, as a woman, that I have a husband and I have children, but in this space, you really have to you have to choose. I'll say it that way. You have to choose what's most important. And a lot of times it's not coming to the conferences. That's not, you may have children and you may have other obligations that just keep you from spending those types of funds to do some of those things. And because we are fabulous women who juggle lots of things, coming to this space looks like a whole bunch of different things. I think we're getting a lot more women coming in because of the NFT space, in my opinion, or the Web3, the NFT space. I think we're seeing more women than ever, and I think women are successful in this space more than in the NFT and the Web3 space, and that's where I'm seeing the women come from, and they're doing an awesome, awesome, awesome job. And we women are just phenomenal anyway. So
yes, I 100% agree. Mila, what do you think? What places would you like to see women more in Web3, Bitcoin, NFTs? I know people are on Twitter Spaces, Instagram, TikTok. What ways do you want to see women seen in Bitcoin, Web3, NFTs, and you name it?
So I think first thing it all comes down to education. Once women understand what is actually happening, what it's all about, they're gonna be starting coming to any space like Web3, NFT, metaverse, like everywhere. So I think the most important for women to get education and understand what's going on, because there's a lot of work in Web3 space. So I think I see more women in everywhere, everywhere, whereas right now male dominated, it can be equally for females. So it can be in all of the exchanges. in all of the like NFT space everywhere. So I'm really happy to be part of this community, and I want to grow it. I want to bring more female to the space because this is the future.
Awesome. I love to hear that. I think we're all so excited to do this and to bring more female awareness and more women in Web3, Bitcoin, NFTs. It's going to be amazing. And I think as the markets are falling and people are now looking more closely to, Bitcoin, NFTs, and such, we're seeing dynamics change. What do you guys think about the markets right now? Is this something to be scared of? Is it the right time for women in the space to really look into Bitcoin, NFTs, and other Web3 assets? What are your thoughts? And team, I'm going to throw the ball in your court.
Buy, 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 buy. This is the opportune moment to buy. Like with everything being down, with it, whether it's, I don't care, DCAing, if you're stacking sats with the fold card, I think this is like, you don't get chances like this right now. So kind of like what Mila was saying, like the education piece is key because people don't understand like buy low, like a lot of people wanted to buy when it was high. So I think it's like like endless opportunities right now. Like despite whatever you're in, even if you're not, a Bitcoiner like us, like everything is on sale. Like you can't get a better sale than right now. It's like more than 50% off. You know what I mean? So we just think that right now it's just the endless opportunity to buy. Like I don't know how else to put that. Buy. Buy.
I agree. I 100% agree. You don't buy, like you said, at $70,000, $69,000 for a Bitcoin. You dollar cost average over time, and you buy when the price is low. But of course, this is not financial advice. So if you guys are listening, we're not financial advisors in any way. We are just talking about our experience with Bitcoin and Web3. And Crypto Beige, I want to throw the ball in your court next. What do you think about the financial markets right now? Is this the time for women to stand back or to really look at what's going on and take the opportunity to invest and learn more?
I think there's a lot going on in our world politics right now. And I think that is going to dictate the market, which it always does. From my understanding, we are basically in a proxy war with Russia, right? And that's why we're funding Ukraine so much. And I was listening to some analysts talking about this might be the first time we're in a war and in a recession at the same time. And so I would say keep those things in mind. Also, lots of people are getting laid off and going to be getting laid off. I believe Intel is releasing 20% of their employees, and so in a recession, the most important thing is to be conservative with your money, but also to invest if you are able to invest. As far as NFTs, since I do have a show on NFTs, I think like there's great sales in the NFT market, and it's really hard to. You have to use your intuition on projects that you really feel have staying power, that have really great teams that are not just going to give up. And so those are what I call high quality NFT projects. And so their price may have dramatically dropped, right, in this time since May, but it didn't go to zero. Something that was 20 ETH floor before, but now it's at like sitting at 5 ETH might be a high quality NFT. And so I would kind of look at those things, and they're all on sale. And so I would, if I had the extra cash, I would kind of see what I could pick up on sale. But again, you just want to kind of be conservative at the moment. I know a lot of people make jokes about like, I've already bought the dip. How are y'all still buying more dips? You know, this is side hustle time, right? This is the time to get a second, third side hustle, so that you can um, have money for these amazing sales.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. Like Tima and Crypto BJ mentioned, like be conservative with your spending, of course, but also if there's a good opportunity to pick up something on the low and you can afford it, that is definitely something to consider. That was very well said. And I want to spin the ball to Naja. Naja, what do you think about the financial markets right now? I know yesterday when you were talking with King, you mentioned how the S&P 500 and the British pound is now more volatile than Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on, women getting involved right now and how they should possibly be investing or how they should be looking at the markets?
So I think all of our speakers are absolutely correct. This is the time. Wealth is transferring. And so I need everybody to know that money hasn't gone anywhere. It's just numbers, and they've changed, and they are changing hands. And so we have an opportunity to be a part of the wealth transfer. And I really feel like this is our time. Not only should we, well, I'll say this, and just in total respect to what everybody else, thinks, and we are all different. We all have different philosophies. I'm not a financial advisor on purpose anymore, so I can say what I need to say. So, as it relates to cryptocurrency specifically, this blockchain, NFTs, metaverse, all of those things, I have to say we have got to get our stability together first and foremost. So I am of the mindset that in this financial market, and again, we're all different. We all think differently. There's only one coin, in my opinion, in this entire space. As much stuff as I do and as much stuff as I look at, that is actually decentralized. So let me say that first. So as we are in war with Russia, as we watch Russia say, you can't sanction me with the United States dollars because we got Bitcoin, peace. As we watch 44 countries come into El Salvador to see how they can put Bitcoin into their economies as opposed to the American dollar, peace. As we see that, we're going to need, and we're going to have the actual digital asset that matters the most. Now, I'm not saying the other ones don't matter, but I am saying you want the one that's scarce, you want the one that's immutable, you want the one in your portfolio that's the foundation. And I'll say that in anything else in this space, in my opinion, is a collectible. And I don't care if it's somebody else's coin. It is a collectible because there is really no guarantee that that coin is going to do what they tell you it's going to do, or that their velocity is in place, or that the ecosystem is even going to hold up with it. And again, so you got to have a foundational something first before you start dibbling and dabbling and all these other things. And so my goal is to really get our community sound financially first. And then diversification is key on the sound products. And then everything else we do, we're doing it in hopes that those projects are still standing at the end of the day in 5 to 10 years. And because of the fact that we are about 2 years away from the next Bitcoin halving, I personally will never forego my foundational coin, and I'll put that way, Bitcoin, to go and do some of these other projects, right? Because I can do that later, but I need that foundation. And I know what that looks like because of the mass adoption, because of the initiatives that nobody else is seeing and paying attention to. And I tell everybody, I bet my life on it, that a lot of the things that we are getting involved in today are distractions. And so I would say for a lot of women to really be careful and really understand what you're getting involved in. And my scenario is always cousin Pete. You loan cousin Pete some money, cousin Pete may or may not pay you back. So if you give him $100 and he don't pay you back, no sweat, right? So if you invest in one of these cryptocurrencies or one of these NFT projects or one of these other things that do not do what they're supposed to do, don't get hurt because that's cousin Pete. He may or may not pay you back. Now, if he pays you back, you're ecstatic. You've got that additional money that just came back in. But if he doesn't, you went in knowing that you were loaning someone your money to do whatever the thing is. And so with Bitcoin, I expect monetization with any other project out there. I don't care if it's Ethereum, I don't care what it is. I'm looking at that as mission. And so my mission with those is to push those platforms further, to buy my NFTs if I need to, but those are missions as opposed to monetization. And that's my, before I go on a rant.
No, I love it. I love your passion for Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoiner. I definitely understand. Ladies, Mila, how do you feel about Bitcoin and what that offers to people?
I feel like the Bitcoin, it's gonna change the world. It's basically we're moving from centralized finance to decentralized finance. So it's basically like financial revolution is just happening, and if I believe, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but it's gonna be that everyone gonna use it in way to send to each other money. So it's not like our money all held in one centralized bank. We're gonna have it in Bitcoin and any other currency. So it's basically we're gonna build this decentralized world. It's how I see it, and Bitcoin is the strongest currency out there. And I believe like Bitcoin, it's almost like a new gold. So I really strongly have believe in that, and I think it's just gonna only like with time is on a people gonna get more education about that and more involved. And I believe there's gonna be times that we're gonna be like fully decentralized. Like I don't know how long it's gonna take, but it's definitely like financial revolution how I see it.
I definitely agree with you. It's definitely a financial revolution. And you made so many good points about you and Naja made great points, especially Naja. I know, shout out to her. She has a blockchain plug and the Black Bitcoin billionaires who are constantly educating the youth and people on Bitcoin and how important it is. Like Mila said, it's a revolution. Bitcoin is making people sovereign. It's banking the unbanked and giving people a way to actually save their wealth. So I definitely want to shoot to Tima. Tima, you and Jump Out Girls are also talking about how to live your life, but also to stack sats to fold, lolly. Tell us more about that. How can women every day stack sats and still live their life?
So like I think the amazing thing is that people don't understand how you can do this with everyday purchases, right? Like you spend money on everything like gas, food, makeup, clothes, utilities, mortgage. And I don't think that people understand that with those things, you can stack sats by paying for those things or purchasing those things via the Fold card, whether it's Lolly, it's Bitcoin Company. Like there's a lot of different platforms that allow you to stack sats. And I think that that's like another way. We talked about it earlier. It's another way to get people who maybe aren't too familiar or who don't know much about Bitcoin or don't understand it. Like just give them the Fold card, right? Just say, hey, look, instead of you using your debit card, put your money onto this Fold card and go out and just use it as you use your regular everyday debit card. And then over time, you'll start to see the stats, stack up. I like that, stack up.
I love it too.
And it's a way to adopt in a way that's not as technical. It doesn't seem as overwhelming. It's not as
Yes.
confusing. It's easier for people, and it's not just women. It's people, because it's not just women who don't understand the technology. It's people who don't understand the technology. Because if people understood the technology, everybody would be in Bitcoin, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So I think that just like when the way that we like to introduce people, i.e., our circle, is just to say, hey, look, use this on literally everyday purchases. Like we can't re-emphasize how much everyday purchases, right? Like the other day, we booked a vacation for next year and we used our Fold card. We bought the gift cards via on Airbnb and then, use the gift card to then go purchase the Airbnb for when we go on vacation next year. Like it's just like amazing, just like the small ways to stack sats without saying like, oh, I got to get this wallet, I got to figure out how to put the, you know, the funds on the wallet, then I got to buy it. Hey, look, just use this debit card, literally like a crypto debit card.
I love that. I love all the ways you and Maine find to really stack sats. And I think, like you said, there are so many ways for women here to really educate themselves about Bitcoin while stacking sats. There's no reason why you can't do both. And like you mentioned, your debit card doesn't reward you in Bitcoin. Other cards do, like Fold and Lolly. So that's really cool. And I also want to segue back to Xverse again. So you can also stack stacks tokens on Xverse and earn Bitcoin yield. So again, what is Xverse? So Xverse is building out the most advanced Bitcoin wallet, and their mission is to create a friendly, user-friendly super wallet. And that experience leverages stacks to unlock Bitcoin's Web3 aspects, and that's DeFi, NFT secured by Bitcoin, and other dApps. So again, if you don't know, it's available on iOS and Android. So check that out if you get a chance. And today's show sponsor is iCoin Technology. So if you see, we have iCoin at the bottom of the screen here. So check them out too. Awesome. So outside of those
50% off. We bought it a few like earlier this year when GOC was telling us to. Like, can I get a refund? Can I get my 50% back?
I know, right? You have such a good deal right now in front of the screen. It's awesome. It's awesome. So, ladies, I do want to hear, what was the moment when you realized that Bitcoin changed your life? When you found out about the space, what was that moment? Can you guys talk more about that and what it meant to you? Naja, I'd love to hear from you. What was that moment and how did it change your life?
I have to smile. When Bitcoin changed my life, let's see here. So my daughter, so I was in traditional finances forever. And I literally would sit at my desk, and I was an entrepreneur, and I was licensed, like I said, I was licensed Series 663, all that stuff. And I was so frustrated because there was no out to the financial market, real out for those people who need it the most. And I could see it all circling back to the traditional system in every direction. And so I was really asking, like, what is it that I can do for my community that does not, at the end of the day, have to be dictated by our Federal Reserve banking system and all the other folks that are in and around that system. And literally, when I got an epiphany about what Bitcoin is and about self-sovereignty and about the way that we could possibly close the wealth gap, and I say that, and I do not say that lightly. There is nothing that we are doing right now in the traditional market that is going to close the wealth gap. It has not. It is not available, and that is because it's not designed to be available. When I found out that there was something that no one controlled, no one could do it, could take from you if you had your seed words yourself. I was just at that very moment, and I remember it like it was yesterday. That was December of 2017, and I literally never went back to traditional finance. That Friday, I started a conference about Bitcoin, and on Monday, I called in to my, what we would call like the broker that's over me as a broker, and just, and I told my husband, I'm never coming back to traditional financing. I have got to figure this Bitcoin thing out, because this is the only thing that I see that will really help my community. And to some people, Bitcoin is something different, but to me, this is freedom and the ability for us to finally, again, finally be in control of our finances and our communities and our families. Because if we rely and keep relying on their banking system, we will never get where we need to be. And so that is the moment that changed everything for me. It's just really no other way.
Naja, I'm sorry to chiming
No.
in out of turn, but I wanted to know, you just said something like can you explain why, if we use fiat, we would never, um, you know, actually gain position? Because you said we will never, but I'm like, maybe you should break it down for people, like why that won't happen.
Well, at the end of the day, and I mean, we have to go back a little bit historically, but I'm just speaking from the lens of an African American in this country, and so may not be for everybody, but I'm unapologetically educating and talking to my community. So every financial service product that is out there right now, the way it's set up, the way that it works, the way that, and I'm again speaking as an ex financial advisor, I've watched how they redline in a real way specific communities. I've watched how certain policies, life insurance policies, are given to other individuals, same policies, less money for other individuals, and triple the money for our community. And what I and in that, and so to answer you, Crypto Bay J, every single product and service, and I don't care what it is that you're looking at, it all goes back to those 2 to 3 families that run this country financially. And it's not set up intentionally for us to win. And us meaning this entire United States, but a little less African Americans. And so we've got to find another way and another platform to be able to level the playing field. And so I don't know if that answered your question without me going through this whole historical thing, but
Yes, it did.
I broke down 401ks. I broke down our annuities. I broke down insurance, and all of those things at the end of the day point back to the same 3 to 4 families. And that is absolutely no joke. It is not designed for us to win. It never has been. And then for us, it's a lot harder because of the stipulations that are put in place, because of, you know, it just is what it is. And factually, and this isn't just some conspiracy, like I can literally show you how somebody's $1 million policy cost them $150 a month, and then our $1 million policy costs us $600-700 a month from the same exact company. And I started seeing that really early on and wondering like what is behind this? And that's what it is. It's just the way the system has been set up. And so unfortunately, there's no undoing it, not even politically, because he who controls the money controls the world, controls the United States government, the Senate, the Congress, and everybody else. So that is why our banks get bailouts and they get the properties back at the same time, and they get this and they get that, because our government is beholden to the people that control the money. So that's my, again, rant. Thank you, Crypto Bay J.
That was an awesome question, though. You guys, that was awesome. I definitely agree with you. I don't think the system is meant for everyone to succeed. Unlike Bitcoin, Bitcoin is it's literally hard money, and like Mila said, it's basically gold at this point. There's no way that Bitcoin is going to separate anyone from what they're destined to be. If you're able to get Bitcoin, anyone's able to get Bitcoin. If you have a phone, you can get Bitcoin. So I think this is really important. And what Naja was hitting all the marks and clarifying, like, this is a way out. You can opt out of the fiat standard, opt out of the US dollar standard by holding Bitcoin and literally banking yourself into a Bitcoin standard. And I wanted to shoot to Mila. Mila, how important do you think Bitcoin is to people all around the world?
I think it's super important for everyone around the world. I'm from Ukraine, so I know like in Ukraine right now, it's like a lot of people that don't have access to finance, like some places in the south of the country where is the main like war happening. People don't have any access to banking at all. So if they still have phones, so they're gonna able to do it by phone. So I think this is real freedom for people to be able to control their own money. And I think it's super important for everyone around the world.
That's awesome. And I think it's really interesting how we're seeing countries like El Salvador and people in Ukraine turn to Bitcoin because it can't be confiscated, it can't be taken from you. you hold your own seed phrase, you hold your own keys, you are your own bank, and you can protect yourself by just holding Bitcoin. Timo, what do you think about this?
I mean, for us, Bitcoin is freedom, right? Like you asked the question, like, when did you have that aha moment? And we continue to have that aha moment. We, when we purchased a masterclass from the Gentleman of Crypto, and they suggested for us to read the Creature from Jekyll Island, if we could have had like a GoPro or somebody filming my cousin and I when we were reading it, like it was just like we were screaming. We were like, I can't believe this. Like, this is crazy. Like, you truly don't understand how messed up the system is until you understand the system, right? And we're both college educated. Like, it's not about your level of education, where you're from. It's like you truly need to understand the financial system to really understand Bitcoin. That's like my opinion on it, our opinion on it. So it's like we're reading this book, and it's just like understanding how corrupt it is, and just like the whole system itself is corrupt. And then, everything just starts to click. You start to notice different things. You start to understand why wars are starting. You start to understand why inflation happens. You start to understand printing money, So these aha moments, or these like pivotal moments, like just make you further, want to further dive into understanding the technology behind it, to understanding more about how it can help people, just, not so much in America, around the world, just like you said, El Salvador, like, I think Lebanon has, or is it Lebanon? I think, like, their inflation rate is like almost 80%, so it's just like you start to understand these nuances and why the system works the way it does. So it's just like for us, we want to be able to control, right? We want control. We don't want to be controlled. And with Bitcoin, you can do that. With Bitcoin, you can truly, like, I don't think people really understand sovereignty, but true sovereignty and true understanding of the control of not being able to have that middleman, right? Like, we don't want to be the middleman. We want to be able to say, hey, this is ours. We own it. Nobody else can take it. Just like kind of like we've all hit on the same points. So yeah, that's kind of like our take on it. It's just like these aha moments keep happening, like, from the books to the conferences, like even being on this platform right now, like this is amazing, just to like really truly understand more about what Bitcoin can do for people, and particularly women.
I love it. I
Yeah.
wanna add to that point you mentioned. We were touching on a lot of the similar points, Naja, Mila, Tima, and again, we're gonna jump to Crypto Beijing in a second. How Bitcoin literally is freedom, and how it's changing the lives of people all around the world, and it doesn't matter, what family you're born into. Like Naja mentioned, how most of the wealth is going to certain families. It doesn't matter that you're black, you're white. It doesn't matter, what your age is. You have access to Bitcoin, especially if you are in a marginalized community here in the States, like being a Black American or being a minority. You have access to change that, which is incredible. I want to talk to Crypto Beijing next. Crypto Beijing, what do you think about this?
Um, the question was around Bitcoin. How do I feel about Bitcoin, or how is it's revolutionary? And I think that um, you mentioned it. You talked about how it's helping the unbanked, and that's a huge thing, because there's so many people that have family members that are in other countries, third world countries, and Western Union rips them off. They charge them very high fees every single time their family member sends them money. And so, Bitcoin is able to kind of, help them out in a way where they can get around the Western Union domination of in that space. Um, and for countries that also have high inflationary currency systems, right? One day, their currencies are not worth very much. This gives them another option to do business. whereas something that they can really hold on to, believe in, and do business in, a currency that they're able to do business in, when they might have a really corrupt government that is bankrupting their fiat currency. So, I wanted to add that the global perspective there. I mean, we're here, based here in America, but we have a lot of ties where it's a global world, and the world has become much smaller, and we have ties all over, and so that's really important. And sometimes you might travel, and you might actually need someone to send you some money because of whatever comes up in your own travels, studying abroad, working abroad, teaching, some kind of language abroad. So these are ways that Bitcoin is helping folks.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. Now, I want to spin this conversation back around a little bit. We've all mentioned so many great points about Bitcoin, what it means to be in the space as a woman, what opportunities are present to you as a woman, and how we can get more women into the space, which is awesome. Are there any last things that you guys want to add to this conversation? If there are women listening right now and they're scared to look into Bitcoin or Web3, what advice would you give them? And if you could give them any advice, what would you say? And then we're going to spin to Crypto BJ.
Okay, thanks. I would say, like, one thing that I didn't mention about being around men in this space, they do underestimate me. When I tell them I'm a crypto educator, they sum it up as an influencer, and I don't quite think that I'm an influencer. um, but it's kind of like, oh yeah, you're an influencer. That's why you're here, and so which is annoying. But I would say that work on if you're a technologist, if you're already interested in the tech space, um, get into Web3. There's lots of opportunities in Web3. I also want to say, if you there are you don't have to go into the stereotypical educator, influencer, I don't know what else is there, HR job of
Yeah.
Web3. If you're into game design and you want to create a metaverse, right? Or you want to create a game that has its own in-app digital currency, like, there's so much opportunity for you to do that. Um, so, like, you know, that's what I would just want to push. Like, there's so many career opportunities as we're building the new frontier of tech, and get in on it. Get in on it. And it doesn't have to be your stereotypical position job. Like, create something new. Be a woman that's in the room with all guys. You know what I mean? Like, they might get on your nerves, but they don't bite, right? And the only way that you can actually create the change that you want to see is, by getting involved.
I love that because it's so true. And Crypto BJ made so many good points in that statement that you have to just get involved. Don't be afraid. Be firm. Be you. And I think that's something we talked about earlier in this chat. How you can pretty much like dress and be yourself and not have to fit the societal norms to prove that you belong in the space. You can pretty much exist as a woman and really put yourself out there. And of course, it's going to be hard and every step in life is going to be a little bit hard, but it's definitely possible. And Crypto BJ made so many great points in that statement. I want to spin the conversation back around the Naja. Naja, what do you think about what Crypto BJ said about what she mentioned about women in the space and how to actually assert yourself and to get a job in the space as a woman?
Yes, the sky is the limit. This is a ecosystem with unlimited opportunities. And if you don't hear anything else that we are saying, if you're a woman out there that's sitting on the couch that has children and or you're single or whatever the case is, just understand that you are enough. You are enough, and whatever it is you have, you can bring to the table. Just do it. And I mean, and I'm going more on Crypto Bay J is absolutely correct about Web3 and all the things that you can do. But I want to tell you this: there are some of us that buy Bitcoin cakes for different events. There are some of us that buy Bitcoin candles. There are some of us that buy Bitcoin pillows and rugs. Like whatever it is you can create in this space, it is here for you. It is an opportunity for you to be creative, whether it's tangible items or, I mean, it's just the sky is the limit. And so just do it. Get out there and do it. Don't listen to what anybody else is saying or how hard they think it is. You're not going to have your friends and family come along with you along initially. Trust me, I know I still have family members that wouldn't touch Bitcoin with my fork. But it just is what it is. But just be you and be creative. And whatever it is you do, she mentioned HR, whatever it is you do, there is something for you in this ecosystem. And this ecosystem is forever growing and forever changing. And it is just waiting on your fabulous mind, body, and soul to get in here. So that's what I have to say today.
I love that. Thank you, Naja. And that's so true. I will say, when I first wanted to know about Bitcoin, I found Clubhouse and I found the Black Bitcoin Billionaires. And I listened for months from you and Lamar and CJ. And I think that that whole journey really allows it so that any one of us can really find a career here in the Bitcoin space or in Web3. Whatever you do, you can find it. I want to pivot from Naja to Tima, and then to Tima to Mila. So, Tima, what are your thoughts on that? Is anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of hit on similar points, but I would add that, I mean, look at you, Kaylee, like now you're the community lead for Experts, right? And I think that a lot of people can take advantage of like Twitter, take advantage of Discord, especially like if you don't have the opportunity or you can't go to some of these conferences and it's like, too much. Twitter is crazy. Clubhouse, right? Just like you, Kaylee, we started off on Clubhouse, right? Listening to Miss Naja and Lamar and CJ and Dadu and all these people. And it was just like these platforms that don't require you to have to go anywhere. You can literally just pick up your phone.
Sorry.
No worries, bless you. Pick up your phone, log on from your computer, and you can do that anywhere. I think that, sometimes people, i.e. women, are just busy, right? You have families, you have things that's going on. So it's just like these more mobile app devices that provide education are good ways to start. I highly, highly, highly suggest people to read, right? Like, I think that reading and educating yourself on just the basics, like the Bitcoin Standard, Creature from Jekyll Island, Bars to Bitcoin, Bitcoin in Black America. Like there's so many books that are written by people that we know that are in this space that are easy to read.
Yes.
Right. And it's easy to understand the concept. So it's just like, don't be so, like intimidated in the sense of trying to understand everything from a technology standpoint. Just understand the mission, understand what, the freedom of it, the sovereignty of it, it's never been hacked. Like all these different points that will make sense once you understand the background. So I think that Twitter, Discord, Clubhouse, these platforms are very helpful just to kind of understand more, and like it gets repetitive, but the repetition's good because then you learn more.
Yes.
Yeah, and actually, congratulations, Kaylee, on that good.
Thank you, guys. I'm really happy to be adding to the Bitcoin space and adding to Stacks. Of course, if you guys don't know what Stacks is a layer 1 blockchain that uses the Bitcoin blockchain for settlement of transactions and for security. And basically, that allows Stacks to inherit Bitcoin security and for settlement times. So that is for contract scalability. So there are NFTs on Bitcoin. There's DAOs on Bitcoin. If you don't know, there are NFT projects like Crash Punks, Megapont. There's Bear Market Buddies. There's so many awesome communities out there on Stacks through Bitcoin. I think it's amazing. And again, shout out to Xverse. They're doing amazing things, and they're going to be the ultimate Bitcoin Web3 wallet. So if you guys don't know about Xverse, look into it, join their Discord, and really immerse yourself in the possibilities of Bitcoin. And again, save in Bitcoin if you are able to. If you're interested, Bitcoin is something that's scarce. It's decentralized, which we can't say for a lot of these blockchains. So please do your due diligence and really look into what it offers. And I want to pitch to Naja again. Naja, what would you tell to someone that wants to look into Bitcoin, a woman who's on this panel or a woman who's listening about Bitcoin? Let's beat it in one more time. Sound the drums, sound the alarms. What makes Bitcoin absolutely special for those who are maybe tuning in right now? Oh, I can't hear you. Naja, I can't hear you.
Oh, because I'm on mute. I'm making a joke. I made a joke about jumping out, the jump out girls. I'm so excited to have them. So anywho's, you don't have to have a whole Bitcoin, as you may or may not know, just a little bit at a time. And a lot of us, because we're juggling a lot of balls, can't really find monies. And I know we find monies for the things that we want to. But one of my suggestions is just start where you are. Maybe you go get your nails done every other week. Absolutely. Get your nails done every week. But how about you don't add those diamonds for one day and you take that $6 and buy yourself some Satoshis? How about you leave out a little bit of the latte and just get the lot? No, I'm just teasing. Just just do a little bit at a time, and just stack your Satoshis. Listen to the Jump Out Girls and shop and earn your stack your sats. Read. You can read articles and get free sats from carrots.io. There's just so many things that you can do, but stack Bitcoin specifically, ladies and gentlemen. Specifically, I will say that as much as I can. Just that, because that day is coming, and the day is coming where you will really appreciate some of the sacrifices that you have made and not got those diamonds on your nail just that one day, just one day. And so that's it. And I love y'all. I've got to jump out girls and Miss Mila. And you have done a phenomenal job, young lady, on this panel today as our moderator. So my hat goes out to you, and I gotta run because I got little kids and I've been gone all day already, and they're like, what's she doing again? So I love y'all and I appreciate you, and have an incredible rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you. It's so great meeting you. Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ooh, before we close out, I do want to hear from you, Mila. Please tell us if there are any women listening right now or just tuning in, what would you tell them on, again, coming into Web3 about Bitcoin? What advice would you give?
I think like why women, they don't get into space because they think it's like too hard to understand, it's too difficult, or it's like just too difficult. That's why I don't understand. So I think the only way I advise would give that it's this not so difficult, so everyone can understand. Just like number one, just need to get more education about that. For me, I was literally Googling everything, reading books. So I did everything by myself, like learning by myself. So I would give advice, just get as much as you can education from either it's some courses. There's a lot of even free courses, or some of like even like $10 a month. It's great courses to learn like beginning of Web3, like them basic understanding about the industry. So I would give advice to educate yourself, number one, and just start to get into the space like by learning different also what's going on right now. It's a lot of information in the news because this industry is changing all the time. It's every day there is something new, so need to also stay up on date and also read the news and see what's new coming out, and just like learn and get into space, because I believe there's a lot of opportunities and it's just at the beginning.
I definitely agree with that. Awesome. So it was great hearing from you, Mila. Tima, you're awesome. Main's not here. Give her my regards. You guys are awesome. And everyone who's been on this panel is phenomenal. To see such amazing women who are pioneers building, educating, teaching is great. So I don't think we're giving ourselves enough credit when we talk about who we are and what we do here in the space. So again, thank you, ladies, for being amazing people, educators, and really putting the good word out there. So I can't thank you guys enough. I'm a fangirl. So thank you guys for coming on. And, we're going to talk more about Bitcoin and Web3. So thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, join the Gentlemen of Crypto again tonight for Crypto After Dark Part 2. And thank our sponsor, iCoin Technologies. And again, check out Fold, Lolly if you want to stack sats on your purchases. And again, check out Xverse because they are doing amazing things by being the world's leading Bitcoin and Web3 wallet. So thank you guys. And this is the end of the stream.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Nice meeting you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.